everyone, welcome to my channel. I am KiwiSimsKate because I'm a Kiwi from New Zealand. I love The Sims and my name is Kate. A special welcome into anyone new to my channel. I predominantly play Sims and create speed builds here on my YouTube channel. I upload every 2 weeks and I really build a variety of different builds, community lots, households, all sorts of things really, just whatever takes my fancy at the time. And I'm also a Twitch streamer. Twitch.tv/KiwiSimsKate is my channel, and I would love to see you in one of my streams one day, so do pop along. Catch me live. I stream twice a week and my schedule's up on my Twitch page. Today here on my YouTube channel, we're going to be building a really exciting project. This build is actually part of a collaboration that I joined on a Discord server named the Stream Shed. And the server is really a collection of like-minded Simmers, Simmers who just kind of like to have a little bit of fun, cozy gaming, and they're all incredibly creative Simmers. They do amazing work. I highly recommend checking out the Discord server if you are a Simmer yourself, and just joining the community because everyone in there is really welcoming and just great people. So I joined their latest collaboration, which is a back to school collab, and we are rebuilding Brichester, which is one of the worlds here in The Sims. It's the university town with 2 different campuses on it. So there's the University of Brichester, which is kind of the more traditional, older looking buildings and campus, and also Foxbury Institute, which is the more modern, kind of tech-focused and eco-focused university campus, and that is where I am building today. So I'm actually building on the Briny Tower lot, which is one of the twin type towers on the map. It's, if you're looking at the map in the game, it's the one on the right, and they are more or less identical in the base game when you open up your Sims. But we have split up the 2 lots, so I am rebuilding one of them and another amazing Simmer is rebuilding the other. So I actually haven't seen their build yet, but I'm really excited to, because I know that they create some great things. And the 18th of September is when the official builds are due in. They will be released, I believe, all together as a save file for all of Brichester. And they've also brought in the world of Newcrest. So some other wonderful Simmers will be adding in more kind of university type town lots into Newcrest as well. There will be a lot of dorm houses and some community lots as well. So it's pretty big and exciting project, and I'm really happy to be a part of it and building with some of these Simmers who, you know, I personally get a lot of inspiration from. So very pleased and chuffed to be a part of it. So I'll talk you through what I've decided to do for my build. I wanted to do one of these dorm towers because I've actually never renovated them before. And I haven't played a lot of the gameplay in Discover University, although I have recently started a sim off at university as part of my legacy challenge, which I do stream on Twitch. So if you ever catch me on Twitch, I may be working on that legacy challenge, and my current sim has actually enrolled in university, and it's the first time I've done the gameplay playing through sending my sim to university, and it's really fun. It's difficult. There's a lot of things to balance, and yeah, it's challenging, but it's a lot of fun. So this dorm is, as I said, Briny Tower, and it's part of the Foxbury campus. It is originally just the one level, but I wanted to expand the dorm. I wanted to have a kitchen, a dining area, fun spots for your Sims to hang out together. I basically wanted it to be an all-in-one lot where your university Sims didn't have to go out if they didn't want to. There's sort of all of their personal needs and social needs in one building. And then obviously they can go off to their classes when required. So I've expanded the whole thing across 2 levels. Downstairs is where the bedrooms are mostly located, except for one bedroom, which is the RA, the resident advisor's room. I placed upstairs. They've got a bit of a bigger room. They've got a double bed, a bit more comfort, and their own little balcony as well. So it's a bit separate from the rest of the dorm rooms. And then there are actually 2 more dorm rooms for single Sims. They do only have single beds in them though, but they're for maybe Sims who wanted a bit more privacy at university, but they probably are paying a little extra for their rooms to have that privacy. And then upstairs, I've placed all of the kind of communal rooms, other than obviously that RA room, but I put a few more toilets upstairs, and then there's a really lovely long social room. I don't know what you would call it. I guess a hangout space. There are all the fun activities to do. There's the ping pong table. There's a TV. There are some card game tables with some scoreboards. And there's a really lovely glass roof as well in there. And then there's a balcony out that looks over the rest of the Foxbury campus that goes along the edge of that room as well. And then we also have a sizable kitchen. There are no stoves. You can't have stoves in university housing, so there are just a few different microwaves, some coffee machines, and some fridges. A couple of the dorm rooms have their own bar fridges, not all of them, but I tried to kind of match it with the personality of who was living there. So the RA does have their own fridge, and then I think there are 2 more Sims that would have their own fridge near their bed. And then there's a small dining room with a couple of tables and some vending machines, which the vending machines from Snowy Escape, they're perfect for dorms. They just work so well. Since Discover University came out, there are a lot of really great items that now work with this. There's some really great yellow and red swatches, which you'll see me use a lot. I wanted to decorate this dorm with the most red and yellow without it being tasteless. I wanted to really show off the Foxbury spirit and make it look like the university itself really put in some time and thought into decorating the dorm, so that the students would not forget where they go to university. I've put loads and loads of those flags around everywhere. All the furniture is mostly red and yellow, some maybe orange. Flags and posters and all sorts of Foxbury coloured items. I also included, so there's a TV in the kind of games room end, but there's also a closed off, darker, I guess you would call it a movie room, with a much bigger TV, and I've kept the lighting quite dim. The idea being that that's the kind of room they might gather to watch a movie together, but the other TV is more just casual. Maybe they would have sports games on it, or just kind of TV in the background. And then the movie room is for serious watching time. Upstairs, there's also a laundry and a gym. That was another thing I thought was really great to include in a dorm, is a laundry, because they have to do their laundry. Sims have got to do their laundry, and at university, in real life, that's often where you learn all these kinds of life skills, because you don't have your parents around to do your piles and piles of laundry. So there's a small laundry room with 2 washers and 2 dryers, and all of the dorm rooms, I hope I've remembered, should have their own washing baskets. So the Sims will just have to collect their washing from their own rooms and then take it to the washing room. And then the gym as well, again, just a small gym, but somewhere they can work out without having to go out of the dorm area. There are two treadmills, a weights machine, and a boxing thing. Why can't I think of the name of that? You know what I mean. Punching bag, that's what it's called, and a punching bag. And some decorations on the walls and that kind of thing. So the kitchen, I tried to get as kind of yellow and red as possible, and I did actually start with yellow cupboards up around the top of the room, but I think I eventually changed them to red, because I felt like the yellow was just a little garish, a little too much, I think. So I do change them a little bit later. And other than that, the kitchen stays fairly clean, not too much clutter. I generally like to clutter up my homes that I build and my residential lots. Again, not too much, but I do like to add lots of little details and just adding some personality to builds, I find. But with the dorm, I found myself having to change my habits, I guess, and not clutter the rooms up too much, because I would normally tend to clutter, but I feel like in a build like this, there wouldn't probably be a lot of clutter in the bedrooms I have. So in the dorm rooms, the students have probably kind of cluttered up their areas because they just have the small space, but in the shared areas, I've definitely tried to keep it fairly clean and minimal. I also expect there's probably a cleaner or two that would whip around once a week or once every few days and clean up after the students mess a little bit, because I think that this is quite an expensive dorm to stay at, I imagine. That's how I picture it anyway, and so I haven't skimped on anything. I've included quite a few really nice items. That students have got a gym in their own dorms, so I feel like that's pretty fancy. And also the study. I forgot about the study. The study's actually, maybe the study's my favorite room in the whole build. I really love how that turned out. I love the colors. Again, it's all yellow and red, but just the items that I found were perfect. And I also created kind of a little corner nook room that's private but within the study, with the robotics machine. Originally, when I decided to do this collaboration, when I signed up, I was thinking I was going to turn this dorm into an all tech focused dorm. So all the technology students would stay here. And I still kind of think, I don't know, maybe I should have done that and made it a bit more cohesive. But as I was starting to build it, I was thinking it would be a real shame, because I wouldn't be able to create so many different dorm room personalities. So when I started to decorate the rooms, I was thinking I really want to be able to, do an artist's room and do a sports person's room and all of that kind of thing. So in the end, I decided that I would keep some tech elements, but it wasn't going to be a solely tech-focused dorm. It would be for any students studying anything at the university, but I did include the robotics room in case any of the students were studying that. Yeah, so I think that the study room is probably my favourite space. I also didn't give all of the students laptops in their rooms because I have computers in the study and I wanted them really to make use of that space. So if you do download this save file, I will also be uploading this build on its own on the gallery. My gallery ID is KiwiSimsKate, so you can just download this build or you can download it as the full save file once it's released. Yeah, you can. I would love to know if you do download it and if you use it in your game and if the Sims are using all aspects of the build. And yeah, I love hearing when other people play with my builds because I absolutely love building, but I don't do a lot of gameplay. So I like to hear when people are using my builds because that's kind of, that's the whole point, is for them to be used and enjoyed. So I do hope you do enjoy this build. I did a lot of copy and pasting with the bathrooms. So the bathrooms are pretty standard. They're not really that interesting, I guess. I mean, I really like the flow of the bathrooms, the ones particularly downstairs that have the showers attached to them. I like that you go through the sliding glass door to get to the showers. I've also included the Snowy Escape lockers. I really love those items. Anything from Snowy Escape, I always find an excuse to include in my builds because I just love those build and buy items. And then in the kind of, I guess you would call it a theatre room, the room with the large TV and just the sofas in it. I dimmed the lights in there and I placed a set of curtains that I very, very rarely use in game, but I felt they were perfect here. First of all, because they came in a really nice bright red swatch, so that was perfect for Foxbury, and also because they fit so well just sort of skimming the edges of the television, and it made it look a little bit more like a home theatre as opposed to just another living space with a TV. Yeah, so I liked that, and then I kept the rest of that room pretty simple. Again, not a lot of clutter. I expect that room's really probably only used in the evenings, and the students would just head in, watch their film, probably take in some snacks or something, and then leave again. So they don't really hang out in that room for a long time. It's purely functional for watching films together as a group. Decorating the students' dorm rooms, the double ones, I use all the same beds for the rooms with 2 students, but then the other 2 rooms that have got just single Sims in them that probably would cost a little bit more to stay in, they're a little bit different. I wanted to have some things that maybe the Sim had brought themselves with them. So you'll notice that one of the rooms is quite alien focused. So one of the students, I imagined, was really into aliens and to conspiracy theories. And so I cluttered up their room a lot with objects that I felt like they might have found. They're really into reading about space and believe in aliens and maybe want to be abducted one day or something. So I used a lot of items from Strangerville in that room. And I also ended up completely taking out the ceiling light. So the room is really, really dim, and just giving them a couple of lamps. There's a floor lamp by the end of their bed, and then I think I include a desk lamp as well. And then I put some blinds across all of their windows, because I imagine of all the Sims, they are probably the most private, and I think they're the kind of Sim that would just stay in their room all the time. And that's another reason why they wanted their own room, because they're not social. They don't want to hang out with other students. They just want to get to the bottom of the alien story and, meet aliens one day, or they're just completely obsessed. So, I darkened their room. I put in that great shelf item that's got all the clutter in that, and I think that was from Strangerville maybe. Some alien posters, and really they're just like never seen by the other students. They're always in their room. They shuffle back and forth to the bathroom when they need to, and they've got their own fridge in their room. So basically they do everything they can do away from the other students, locked in their own room. And I also added a few items to the outside of their door in the hallway, which I liked, that kind of reminded me of sort of keep out signs, or caution or warning signs, because they did not want visitors, and they didn't want anyone seeing what they had in their room. Maybe they've got some big secrets or something. And then I had a lot of fun decorating this tiny laundry space. It's pretty small, but it should be functional. It's really only to pop your laundry in and to leave. So I didn't think we really needed more than 2 washers and 2 dryers. This dorm has space for 2, 4, 6, 8, 11 Sims. So 8 Sims in the shared rooms, 2 student Sims who have their own rooms, and then also 1 Sim. They actually have a double bed, so I guess you could fit 2 Sims in that room, but I'm thinking it's probably just 1 Sim who's the resident advisor for this building. So 11 Sims in total. I figured 2 washers, 2 dryers would be plenty, because probably there are some filthy students who never do their own laundry and probably sits there for weeks just festering in their basket. Yuck. Also, you'll see when I decorate the study, that I do sort of go back and forth. I had an original idea of just placing the plain white desks, but I'm so glad that I switched it up, and I wanted to sort of make one space to one side, which were the computer stations. So I placed a computer on each individual small desk. And then I wanted to make a kind of like a group study desk situation, where either they could just bring their notebook or their own laptop and sit down, or they could sit around the table as a group and, if they had a group project or something, and work together. I was so happy as well when I found the bright red bookshelf swatches, because red is not a swatch that I would normally use when I'm building in The Sims. I love building, and I love attempting to use different items, but I am a creature of habit, and I do tend to fall back on items that I love and I use again and again and again. And doing things like this, like a collaboration, where it's something I probably wouldn't have done on my own, building a dorm is something I've always wanted to do, and I've just never actually found the time, or I've had other projects on the go. So the collaboration has been great at pushing me out of my comfort zone, and making me try different things. So I've got to use so many items that I wouldn't normally use, and different swatches as well. Like I say, red, not a color I would normally pick. Yellow, I do use yellow quite a bit. I love to mix yellow as a sort of accent color with darker colors if I'm doing quite a modern, contemporary build. I think yellow looks really lovely with like dark blue or just darker colors. But red, no, not. I'm not normally a fan. But with something like a university dorm, it's just a fun build. I was able to use color. I used this crazy hexagonal carpet, which I never use. I always want to have a reason to use it, but it just doesn't go so well. It's quite good for kids' rooms, actually. But the types of builds I normally do, it doesn't really fit. So I got to use that carpet, bright colors, just like silly objects. I used a lot of the Star Wars objects from Journey to Batuu in one of the students' rooms that you will see, because one of them, I was thinking, what can I theme these different rooms as? And some of them came really easily, sporty person, a musician, an artist. And then I was just blanking on how to theme one of the rooms. And then I was going through all the items and saw the Star Wars items. I was like, why doesn't this person just be obsessed with Star Wars? Maybe they're a student who's studying space. Maybe they're want to be an astronaut or something, but they're also really obsessed with Star Wars and just have a huge collection of Star Wars memorabilia and items. So the students that I've designed the dorms for is I've got one bedroom in the back corner of the build that has an artist. So I imagine they're studying fine art. They want to be a famous painter. They're really into kind of oil colours. And so I put lots of paint everywhere, paint cans. They've got their own small but their own little balcony in that room. There are two of the shared rooms that do have their own balconies. I just thought it would be nice to have some differences. So, the price of the rooms probably differ. So if you've got a balcony, you'd pay a little bit more. If you've got a private room, you'd pay even more. And then the fine arts student shares a room with the sports student, who I imagine is probably studying, not studying football, but is on the football team, soccer team. And I've actually placed a couple of the Brychester soccer playbooks around the dorm. There's one, I think, in that bedroom for the sports student, and then there's one, I think, in the kind of hangout area at the other end of the dorm upstairs. And my thought behind that was that they probably stole it. So being the rival university, they may have secretly snuck in to Brychester, found this playbook and taken it so that they could beat them in the tournament. So I hid one under their desk, and there's another one by the kind of TV hangout area as well. The other room, there's a photographer. A little bit trickier to find things for the photography student other than the obvious. So, I've placed a camera tripod, I've placed a couple of cameras, and then once you get past that equipment, it's hard to try and show a photography student through maybe the artwork on the walls. So I was drawing a blank after a little while, but you'll notice that I placed, basically in the shared rooms at least, everyone gets the same type of bed, slightly different bedspreads, the same type of wardrobe, and the same type of desk. I felt like that was pretty realistic, actually, just having the same furniture. I know that I stayed in a dorm in my first year of university, and we all had, the same basic furniture, and we could bring in, if we had space, we could bring in extra things if we wanted, depending on the size of the room that we had. And then the Star Wars students, so they're just, I don't know what they study. Maybe they want to be an astronaut or something one day, but they just have collectibles of Star Wars everywhere and Star Wars posters, and they share a room with a classical music student. So they've got the keyboard and they've got a violin and some classical music posters. The student studying the other music students, so I've placed 2 music students in this dorm. The other music student is more of a rock music student, so they're studying acoustic and electric guitar. They've got lots of posters of musicians and rock stars, and they want to be a famous rock star one day. And they share a room with someone who is really into makeup and clothing and fashion. So there's just fashion and makeup clutter everywhere. And then going back to the photography students, they share a room with the veterinary student. So there's a student who is studying to be a veterinarian, and they've got lots of dog and cat posters everywhere. Animal themed things. And the final bedroom is the other private room at the other end of that floor. And that is for a student who is obsessed with video gaming and wants to one day compete in video game tournaments. And they probably want to, in terms of a career, maybe they want to go into IT or esports, ideally, something like that. So I gave them a couple of gaming consoles. They've got those little controllers out of the debug menu and a cool little sofa in their room, so maybe they have friends around to play games with as well. If you want to download this build, my gallery ID is KiwiSimsKate, and you can find this and all my other builds there. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to catch all of my future videos here on YouTube. You can also follow me on Twitch, Twitter and Instagram, all at KiwiSimsKate. Thank you so much for watching, and take care out there. Bye!